Hey guys, thanks for coming in here and checking out the Women on Crypto panel. I want to introduce you guys to the host of the panel. So this is Lori. Lori is a entrepreneur, investor, and then she's taken this great task of grabbing the women that are actually going through and making changes in the industry for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. She does run a podcast around this, and then she saved my life completely by essentially putting this panel together for us right now. So if you guys can, say thank you to Lori, and I've talked to too many people.
Hello, everybody. And for those of you that are outside the room, come on in. We've got lots of seats.
Thank you so much.
So
and
thank
I'm
you,
gonna go shove 'em
Shannon.
in the door.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So hello, everybody. Boy, is that a bright light out there. I want to introduce our panelists. They're coming up. We have Naja Roberts, and I'll let Naja say more when she gets up here, and Hannah Venugopal, and we have Rachel Wolfson. And so we have, and I want to tell you, everybody's doing such great things in crypto, and I know this is a mining conference, and none of us up here are miners, but we are in the industry. And for all of you that are in here, come on in, bring them on in. For all of you that are here right now, I just want you to recognize yourselves for a minute. You are the leaders of tomorrow. You might be a miner today or just starting out in crypto today, but in the future, 10 years down the road, your career might be something completely different. Miners may be bankers. Have you thought of that? And so taking the lead and being a leader in the new digital economy, the economy of ones and zeros, okay? The old economy is the analog economy. So being a leader in this new economy takes a lot of courage. So give yourselves a pat on the back and don't give up. Keep going, because I know as an entrepreneur, sometimes it can get kind of rough. But you guys keep going, okay? Don't give up. We're just getting started in this new economy. So real quick, a little about me. I'm Lori Souza. My background's in electronics. I was the first woman in my to graduate in my electronics class. And somehow after the recession, the dot-com recession, so I went through this in the computer age, in the dot-com recession, got laid off and started my own business as a real estate investment broker. So yeah, things change as you move along in your career, so it is good to be flexible and move with the times, because our technology in the next 5 years is going to change as fast as it has in the last 25 years, okay? Maybe even faster. But this is the group to do it. So enough about me. Oh, and I know there's 2 burning questions you have right now. How tall is she? I'm 6 foot tall, and yes, I did play basketball. Okay, Naja, it's your turn.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Naja Roberts, and my husband and I actually own one of the first African-American brick-and-mortar cryptocurrency exchanges in the U.S. And the reason we opened it online is because our community, first and foremost, a fact that most folks don't know is that there are over 65 million unbanked or underbanked individuals in the United States. Then how do they go to Kraken or Gemini or Coinbase or even Cash App for that matter? And so what we decided to do was bridge the gap for those individuals with the over-the-counter exchange. We also realized that in our community there is a huge digital divide. So we started the first ever Crypto Kids Camp, and we teach emerging technologies to children ages 5 to 17. It's not all about crypto. We are teaching mining too. We'll talk about that hopefully. And then last but not least, I'm very passionate about my community. I come from the city of Unfortunate Angels, where there are 65,000 people on the streets of Los Angeles, homeless. So we're working on a homeless project where we're giving them Bitcoin. And I think yesterday I got an epiphany as to what industry we're going to put them in, mining, because that looks like something that they would not shy away from. So that's me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Naja. And then we have Hannah Venugopal.
Thank you, Naja. Thank you, Lori, and thank you, Scott and organizers, for this amazing opportunity for us to speak about crypto and blockchain and all these innovations. My name is Hena Venugopal. I am a director with DTCC. DTCC is a post-trade premier market infrastructure. We handle all the clearance, netting, and settlement of most of the Wall Street trades. At DTCC, we believe all the DLT technology and the innovative technology have a generational opportunity to transform the markets. And at DTCC, we always empower the women and the diverse groups. And there's a lot of technology opportunities there, learning opportunities. So that is how I got into this DLT world. And I got very much interested in this DLT and blockchain and started my course with MIT, where I got immersed into this blockchain and wonderful crypto world. So that is my background, and thank you.
All right. And thank you, Hannah. We have Rachel Wolfson.
Yeah, thank you, ladies. And thanks, Scott, and everyone for having us here. It's great to be here. My name is Rachel Wolfson. I'm a senior reporter with Cointelegraph. I've been covering the crypto and blockchain space since 2017. I got my start when I was living in the Bay Area, and I was a contributing writer for Huffington Post. In 2017, I learned about blockchain as a technology. I found it very fascinating, so I wrote an article, put it on Huffington Post for fun. It kind of blew up from there, so that's where my journey started. I became addicted, didn't want to write about anything else, so from there I was a staff writer with Bitcoin Magazine for a little bit. I was with Forbes for close to 2 years, and then I joined Cointelegraph in 2019. I used to have a podcast called The Crypto Chick. It was part of the Bad Crypto podcast. And I'm also a enterprise blockchain analyst with Quantum Economics. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself. So thank you.
Wonderful. Everybody's doing lots of great things out there. Thank you so much. So as far as what our next question is going to be, I just have a little intro to that. I was at a women's networking group last week, and one of the women said, yeah, my husband asked me if I could buy crypto. Okay, anybody in here married? You might be in the same boat, right? Where you might be having to ask your wife if you could buy crypto. Well, who holds the purse strings? Okay, the women do. All right, all you women here? Okay, just think if you were the one that got into crypto before your husband did. Right? How fast would this new digital economy spread? Well, women like to talk, right? Okay, so guess what we're doing for you guys, all you miners, all of us women in crypto. We're your advocates. We're the ones that are out there taking the punches and educating people on this stuff, okay? There's a lot of resistance, but imagine what women can do in this industry for you guys. We're not here to brag about what we do. We're here to let you know that we're here to support you in this business. So the next question is to find out what is the latest project you're working on. Naja, what are you working on?
Well, in the spirit of the women, and looking, and this is Black History Month, I call myself young Harriet Tubman, leading my people out of financial slavery, right? And so as we look throughout history at the work that the women have been doing in the background, in the struggle, civil rights, et cetera, it just really became important to really focus on community. So right now, I'm looking at the ills in society and really trying to figure out how Bitcoin specifically can solve that. And I know a lot of people say Bitcoin can't solve everything. But in my opinion, Bitcoin can solve everything, because there will be no social justice until there is economic justice. And so I can talk about 100 things I'm working on, but one of the biggest things that we're doing right now is really educating the community. So I say I'm not building Silicon Valley or Silicon Beach. I'm building Silicon hoods. And so what we're doing is we're popping up in housing projects and parks and places where people are, because we have to meet people where they are. So I'm working on a tour to go across the United States to 41 cities and educate on Bitcoin and give all the constituents that come. We're going to be giving them Bitcoin wallets and really showing them how to store the Bitcoin, because who knows, the $100 or the $1,000 in Bitcoin we give them today could very well change their financial trajectory in 5 to 10 years. And we're giving them the mindset not to get rich quick, but this is for the long haul, because 9 out of 10 of the people that we talk to in the community have nothing for retirement. And it's not in the financial plan, because the way the system is set up is you can't report that you even have insurance, life insurance, if you want to get the hand up that you need in certain things. And so we're really trying to seek to understand how to really get our community moving, a jump start.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, lots of good work. Thank you.
Listening to Naja, she's an angel. You're an angel. It's so interesting to listen to Naja, how she works and the community changes, the impact you make in the community, Naja. So talking about work, I work for Project Ion. Project Ion is a transformative settlement and clearance project. So we at DTCC, we are trying to change the way the settlement works right now. It is like T+2, T+3, or future settlements. So how can we reduce the settlement timeline to a projected netted T+0 settlement or a T+1 settlement? That is what this project is about. And we are trying to transform it using a distributed ledger technology or the blockchain technology on settlement. So we have a DLT network for Project Ion, where all the major banks and are participants, and they are like the nodes on the DLT network. And DTCC has a central node, or the observer node, or the governing node of this Ion network, where we manage this transactions which happens. So once the transactions comes from the Wall Street, it goes through the DLT network, and those are like digitalized. And those transactions goes through the participant nodes of, it can be a deliverer or a receiver of the transaction, and it gets that consensus mechanism. So compared to the Bitcoin consensus protocol, which is like proof of work, where we get the entire network's consensus, this is slightly different because it's a private permission blockchain. And the privacy levels are like completely participant to participant. So that is the main contrasting behavior between a Bitcoin protocol versus a private blockchain settlement. So once that consensus is received, and then the contractual, it goes through the smart contracts and it validates those transaction instructions. And once that is received, it goes through a notary where the double spend or the UTXO is checked to make sure it is a unique transaction, there is no double spends, that end state is not consumed before in any of the other transaction. So that is a flow which goes through that, and then the finality flow kicks in, and that is where the tokenization or digitalization of that security happens. So that is how that digitalization of a security on a settlement on a private blockchain happens. So I just wanted to give you that flow for some of the technology enthusiasts who have asked me that question yesterday. So I just wanted to give you that flow. So it is very, very interesting how this DLT can reduce that, accelerate the settlement cycle, the settlement time, and reduce the liquidity risk, reduce the settlement risks, the counterparty risk, all those systemic risks associated with a settlement. So that is the power of blockchain and the power of DLT.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Are you being met with any resistance with the financial institutions?
The resistance, I would say it's not resistance. There's like a lot of enthusiasm, and it's a very welcoming market from the industry. So we have an industry consortium which is comprised of all the major banks and all the major players in the Wall Street industry. And there is a lot of engagement, and we have these weekly meetings which happens. And we at DTCC, we want to make sure, as we are the leaders, like as I said, we are the governing chair for for the Hyperledger Forum and many other innovative forums. So we want to make sure as we embrace this DLT technology and reap its benefits, we want to educate the industry, like as Naja was saying, and there is lack of education. Like people are still learning what are the benefits, how can we embrace this technology, what are the risks associated with it. So at DTCC, we believe in educating through these forums to make sure all of us understand the benefits of DLT and how it can be used, how it needs to be enhanced, right? So there is a lot of engagement. Of course, we need to always take a measured approach when we embrace this new technology, because there's a core stability of the financial market. So we want to be very cautious about what we are doing. We want to really learn and understand, and then take measured approach towards this embracement of innovation.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Rachel, what project you got going on right now?
Thanks. So I'm a reporter, and basically I write articles all day. So in terms of projects, I will talk about what I'm working on soon, but basically my role is to report information and to educate everyone on the crypto and blockchain space, and to do that as accurately as possible. So what I tend to do with all of my articles, they're all in depth. They're all long-form articles. They're not quick news pieces. I like getting on the phone with people and conducting those interviews to actually learn from those people and get original comments. So I think a big part of my job is also to just kind of clear the air of misinformation and make sure that everybody understands what's going on in the crypto and blockchain space, because there is a lot of confusion. So for instance, I noticed on crypto Twitter, where I'm pretty active, people were confused about the Jarrett's court case with the Tezos staking, and people thought that a court ruling was actually made saying that you don't, or that you will not be taxed on staked crypto rewards. But it turns out there was not a ruling actually made. A court hearing was all that took place, and basically what happened was the Jarretts were issued a tax return, which is what they wanted. But that doesn't mean that, a ruling was made where people will not be taxed on staked crypto rewards. So there was a lot of misinformation. So today I published an article that I wrote yesterday on, what is actually happening here. Like Forbes wrote an article that was very misleading, and a few other publications. So my job is just to report the facts. I spoke with TaxBit. I spoke with the Proof of Stake Alliance on the phone. So getting these comments from the people at the source. Another article that I wrote recently was about mining. It was when the price of Bitcoin dipped below $40,000 and everybody started freaking out. But it turns out that the global Bitcoin hash rate was up, and it's only going to continue to rise. So, despite the price of Bitcoin being below 40K, like the global Bitcoin hash rate is doing really, really well. So I interviewed Core Scientific about that. I spoke with Darren Feinstein. He's a great source of knowledge. I spoke with Argo Blockchain, got their opinions on the matter. So, I think it's important with my role just shedding light on what's really happening here. Like, it's not all about prices, and it's not all about what we're seeing with what we think is happening with these things that are, with the court rulings, but it was just a hearing. So that's a big part of my job that I take very seriously. And I think getting on the phone and talking to people and coming to conferences like this and meeting women like, all of us up here is really important. To answer the original question, what am I working on now? I'm actually working on a fun piece for Valentine's Day, and it was actually inspired by some data generated from eToro that says if you own crypto or Bitcoin, that you're apparently more desirable. So I thought that was really, really fun. I'm going to get on the phone with eToro tomorrow and kind of dig deeper, but it's always fun to write fun little articles for the holidays. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Thank you, Rachel. So there's a lot of good things that women in crypto are doing. And for all the women here that are thinking about getting in crypto and are not yet taking the leap, take the leap. And remember, when you're an entrepreneur, you're working as an entrepreneur, put 100% into it. Because this isn't just a fleeting stock that we're all investing in. This is a new way of life. This is the new digital economy that you're investing in, which is your future and your kids' future. And their kids' future, and all the people around you, your family's future. And so when you are investing in cryptocurrency or investing in yourself, in your own business, in this new economy, you're making a big difference by making that decision. But for those of you that are already out there, how many of you have been met with resistance from the old economy people? Okay, I have to tell you, we all have, I'm sure. And you know who they are. They're the ones that are saying, oh my gosh, I heard Bitcoin was crashing. Right? You heard that. And so guess what? While you hear them saying and asking you, is Bitcoin crashing? Then you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, I'm really glad I took the leap with the group of positive people, with the group of forward-thinking people, the people that are already vested and know that this is our future. But, you know, and as an educator, we need to explain gently because there is a lot of resistance out there. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I do crypto coaching and advising, and I have a YouTube, it's Innovative Economy. And so with all of us here in Women in Crypto, sometimes it's a little intimidating, right? Because we're probably, what, 50 out of the 1,000 people that are here? But don't be afraid to get started. And by the way, that's what we're here for too, as a support for you as well. So the next question I have is, what would you like to say to all the women that are thinking about getting into crypto, or anybody that's thinking about getting into crypto or mining?
So specifically, one message that I try to make sure that the women that are thinking about getting into crypto or blockchain are really just understanding that you can get in where you fit in. And the bottom line to that is, if you bake cakes, Miss Naja buys Bitcoin cakes. I buy Bitcoin socks. We have a store, we sell Bitcoin soap. We do all these innovative things in this space. Just like you go everywhere and you see fiat money on stuff, like literally from the smartest people in the world to the people that are just really just out there with the community, like whatever you can think of. If you're technical, great. If you have a criminal justice degree, such as I do, maybe you get into politics and some of the other stuff that they're doing, and that actually helps play into some of the things that I'm doing. But whatever you do, you can bring it to this space, and it is so welcomed. It is so needed. You would not believe. Like, I got a girl making Bitcoin biscuits out of, I think she's out of Wyoming. Not out of Wyoming, I'm sorry, Utah. So there's there's just fun stuff that we can do, but you really can get in this space. And I know that's, the silly part of it, but you really can get in this space and make a difference, because we are the first faces that our children see most of the time. Our fathers are absolutely phenomenal. I get that. But we as women have the opportunity. A lot of us are school teachers or educators in our churches. Like, you can do so much to really start to educate and not actually be a person in the space that's monetizing on the space. And I think that's important. And just know that you have a support system. We have a conference coming up, Women in Blockchain. There's already over 83 speakers around the world that are all women, just doing their own thing in their own lane, but we need to pull together. Once you get in the space, call me. I'll buy the socks. I'll buy whatever it is you're producing. We got to make sure that, that we stick together, but, that they know that there's not just beauty, there's brains. And so as I go about educating, and she doesn't even know, but when I go about educating, you want to tell people the right exchanges to use, the right newspaper articles to read. Cointelegraph, and her name is the first one out of my mouth, because if you want to know the truth about something, you need to look to the people that are putting out quality content. And so those are the types of things that we can do. Really just educate, know what the good sources are, know who to send people to so that they get the right information, because there's so much misinformation out there. So that being said, that's it. You can do whatever you want to do in this space.
Thank you, Naja. Absolutely agree to that. I feel like women generally, like, we all are perfectionists, right? We are delayed by our quest for perfection. We have to be perfect in everything, like the way we look, the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we learn and do things. So I think we need to be more risk takers. I think that is the main difference, what differentiates a woman from a man, right? So we need to take more risks. We need to embrace that opportunity. So don't wait for perfect moment, for that perfection to get you ready for that start. So if an opportunity strikes, just do it now. Just start it now. You can start it small. It doesn't have to be perfect. So if you want to start in the crypto field, start learning about some of those small concepts, like simple concepts, and understand how it works. Ask people for help. There are a lot of educators like Naja and Rachel, and a lot of people who are in this field, and Laurie, who are in this field, who have a lot of interesting articles and videos, which are very simple and very easy to follow. So do that. That's a good start. And start something now. Believe in yourself. We all are so powerful, immensely powerful. So take risks, believe in yourself, and start something now. Start something today. So in this 4-minute network today, we did, right? So we are starting a mining company. Yay!
Yes,
Girl power.
yes, thank you.
on Valentine's theme, will you mine? Will you be mine?
That's wonderful.
So mine
She's
is
gonna trademark that as soon as we get off the stage.
yes. So that is the message, right? So start a network, start a lean-in circle right here. Form 10 peoples, right? Support group. That is what we need. We need to uplift each other. We need to empower each other. Thank you. And who is ready to do some interplanetary transactions soon to Mars, to Moon, and to Jupiter?
That's right. That's right.
Way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks. Yeah, those are great insights. So I guess the best advice I could give is that it's not about the price. And when I entered this space in 2017, I didn't own crypto at the time. I wasn't concerned about the price of Bitcoin. I came in just because I thought the technology was interesting, because what it could do for the enterprise and what it's also doing with cryptocurrency. And so I think the advice I would give is just, don't focus so much on the price. I think hodling is great. If you own Bitcoin, that's amazing. And it doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you own, but just owning that, there are so few people in the world that actually own Bitcoin. I mean, we're in a little bubble, but to be in that bubble and to actually own Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is amazing. And you should hodl that. Why would you want to sell something so, just valuable, I guess? And so it's not about the price. It's about the fact that this space is transformative. I live and breathe crypto and blockchain. It's my life, and it's enriched my life so much. I've traveled across the world. My best friends are in the crypto space. This is my life, and it's just amazing that I can say that, I own Bitcoin and crypto, and I'm not concerned about the price. When Bitcoin's above 40, that's great. When it was at 5,000, was it last year or something like that? That was fine also. It's just knowing that you own that and you're that small portion of the world is really amazing. So that's kind of the advice that I would give. And to educate yourself, obviously that's extremely important. Books, publications online like Cointelegraph, what these ladies are doing, and other innovators in the space, going to conferences, it's all very, very valuable, because once you're in and you start to understand, you're never going to want to leave. And it's going to enrich your life so much. So I'm very happy to be a part of this space.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Rachel. Now, we have time for questions, and there's a microphone there. So if you'd like to ask a question, feel free to step up to the microphone, and you can ask any of us any questions. One of the things that I do is get asked a lot of the same questions. Somebody asked me last night, well, I have an uncle who's 65 and still doesn't understand Bitcoin. And how do you explain that to somebody who's so resistant? And I said, well, did you ask him what happened when the personal computer came out? And what did he do? Did he run out and get a personal computer? Or was he one of the people that said, I don't need one of those. I got the phone book. I can go to the library. right? For those of you that remember that. So that's the resistance that we're dealing with now, because this is bigger than the personal computer. This is our money. This is our economic system. This is our economy. This is going to be our life. And so in 10 years from now, you'll look back to today and say, oh, you know, I thought it was just an option. Guess what? Guess where we're going? Anybody who's 30 and under, okay, has always had technology in their lives. Well, hold on a second. Let's say 25 and under, okay, has always had technology in their lives. People in our age group, what do you say, Gen Xers, Gen Yers, okay, we've had some part of our life without technology. And so when you go up to the baby boomers, there's a lot of resistance in education because majority of baby boomers' life is no technology, right? So the computer was a tough one to get through. Now we got to explain the money. And for moms, I put a little video together, Bitcoin for Moms, to explain it to your mother. And it's kind of like if you ever had kids and you took them to Chuck E. Cheese. Did you get to use your money, your dollars? No, you had to use the Chuck E. Cheese tokens, right? And you could only use the Chuck E. Cheese tokens when you're in Chuck E. Cheese. Well, guess what? In the digital economy, you can only use your tokens. And so that's why there's so many tokens being created right now, because we got a lot of little economies that are being created with their own token so that they can create abundance and prosperity within their own economy. And so Bitcoin, as the father of it all, okay, all the little tokens are creating all off of the blockchain are being created to create ecosystems, reliable ecosystems. And I don't know about you, but I was affected greatly, my family, by two recessions, the dot-com recession and the real estate recession. And so the centralized economy is really being looked at closely right now, especially with all the money that's going into this economy. And so we're all here to support that and take it out there and educate people to be part of it so that they can actually really enjoy their future. So let's say, is there anything else you'd like to share? We got time. Any questions anybody has? Yes.
When establishing your interest and wanting to expand out to your community, what was the most significant first step that you took? Or what would you advise the person to do?
So when speaking about community, just in our particular case, dealing with the Black and brown communities, we had, as business owners, entrepreneurs, we were financial advisors before we took a full plunge into the cryptocurrency space, by the way. We had to realize that this was community over monetization. And so we had to take a look at several business models that have lost revenue in order to get a people or a community to even understand what we were doing in the first place. So you have a Bitcoin exchange in the city, brick and mortar, but why would people come patronize it if they don't even know what the heck Bitcoin is? And so we could go on the west side of Los Angeles, and I have a Bitcoin bug, by the way. So I could go over there and people are jumping off the curve and they're screaming, they're blowing their horn, they're turning U's, they're blocking me off, they're screaming about Bitcoin. And I go through the community and people are looking like, what is this crazy lady in this bug? So we had to, in the community, because as a community, we really had to really think about how do we disseminate this information so that they know what we have is valuable. And so that's been our challenge. But again, someone said, just do it. Just get out there and do it. Because if I continue to wait on somebody else to have the model, it's hard. Also, let me say this, because a lot of the things that you're going to come up with, nobody else has done before. So when you're talking about putting a business plan together, investors, again, in the old space are trying to give me all these things that they do on a daily basis. And I have to stop investors all the time and say, hold on, there is nothing traditional about what I'm telling you right now. So let's go back to the funding and talk about tokenization. Let's go back and understand that you're not going to hold equity share because this is for the community. You've got to be you got to stick to your guns and understand, as she said, this is a new economy, a new space, a whole different way that we do things in financial services. And we got to teach the people that we're talking to even get the monies to do the thing. So it's a little difficult. Just know you are kind of creating and paving the first of everything. Like everything that I do, I literally don't have anybody to really look at to gauge like how much is this going to cost or whatever. So we're kind of almost jumping in the water on everything and learning how to swim. But there's so many supportive people around, both African American, Hispanic, Caucasian. Like we have fabulous allies, but you just got to get out there and let the community know what you're doing, because they will support it. That is one thing I will say about our community. They're super supportive, men and women, again, all nationalities. You know, just do it. Get out there and make it happen.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, be the trailblazer. So, do you have anything to say for
And I
anybody?
think, Laurie, we were discussing, how there's shortage for services in this crypto industry, right? So you were talking about that last time. So there is a lot of areas, like, niche areas where we need resources, right? So it is the right time right now to understand and identify which are the niches or areas where there's a shortage, and so you should see that as an opportunity, right? Opportunity to explore and innovate, right? So find that area, find that contacts in that area, get a network, learn about that opportunity, and try to prepare and dive into it. Right? That is what I would say.
Yeah, there is no lack of work in this space. There's actually shortages of work. So you go to the old economy and there's shortages of labor, right? But did you have something you wanted to share?
Well, I wanted to add to what Naja was saying, because what you're doing is amazing. I find it truly incredible. I think there are challenges that we need to consider here, though. And so I'm seeing this a lot with the big exchanges like Coinbase. People are getting in because there's information on, how to do it. But then there are challenges like with transactions, for instance. And I think that when we encounter these challenges, and I don't know how you're handling this, the customer support and the customer service in the industry needs to get better. Because today with banks, if a transaction doesn't go through, you make a phone call, there's support. But for instance, with exchanges, and Naja, I'm curious to know what you guys are doing to solve this challenge. I had a friend recently put $75,000 of Bitcoin into Coinbase, and something with the transaction got messed up, and the customer support was just like horrible. Mm-hmm. And so that's a challenge that we need to solve in order for this industry to grow, because we can't have people put $75,000 worth of Bitcoin, have an issue, and then have a customer support team say, oh, actually, we need you to do this, and it's completely ridiculous. So, right, yeah. Right, and so Naja, I'm curious to know, because what you're doing, you're getting people involved, but how are you solving the challenges that we're facing today?
So twofold with that. We're doing this tour to 41 cities, but these 41 cities this year will have a brick and mortar over-the-counter exchange. We understood with our community that they need white glove service, so to say. So we are the customer service, unfortunately, for Coinbase and Cash App and Kraken. And so this year I made a decision that I'm going to be the champion, that you guys that are making all the money are not going to spend our time helping your clients. So I'm asking them to put one of their reps in every single one of our locations to handle those specific areas when people walk in, because we find ourselves spending 45 minutes to an hour and a half for anybody that walks in off the street and has an issue with a Coinbase or a Binance, Crypto.com, like all of them. So I'm demanding that they do something on the brick and mortar level, because I'm the only brick and mortar that people see, so that we can help with that. But our exchange specifically, we don't ever self-custody. So if somebody sent us $75,000, they get $75,000 in their wallet immediately, because this space is not about custodying somebody's Bitcoin. This is about self-sovereignty. And the only way you can teach it is to force people immediately to hold their passwords, their private keys. Understand, this is not the freaking bank. It'll never be the bank. But people are going to try to disseminate. They're not trying. They're doing it because, and I can go on a rant about how much people are trusting in these, I call them hot wallets, because you don't have access to your private keys. So, but if people are getting in and they're thinking they're safe there, there's another thing that they need to know, because I have a client right now, and $75,000 is a lot, but $18,000 to somebody in the hood is a lot of money. And we've been 4 months, and I've been personally CC'd with Crypto.com. And they're just like, oh, well, we know it kind of sort of may have been an inside job, but we're not taking responsibility because you have your private, it's BS. And so something has to happen. And so we're taking a stand to say, look, we want to help the community, help you, help us, whatever, however you want to say it. But they've got to really start taking responsibility, because their customer service is awful. It's awful. And nobody's saying anything about it, and they're just kind of lost in these emails. So
Yeah, so that's the big premise for the decentralized economy. So that's why education is so important. When Coinbase is still in the centralized world, or part of the centralized system, and it's real easy. It's real easy to buy Bitcoin there, but when you buy Bitcoin there, you don't own your Bitcoin. Like Naja said, you get it in your private wallet, you get the right education, that you have the private keys, you keep your master seed, and you're the one in charge. This is a self-sovereign movement. We're not having to rely on the man to take care of our money. That's what Coinbase is relying on, that you're relying on that, right? And so when we learn that part and really get a grasp that nobody's gonna take care of your money for you, you're the one that has to take care of your money, then that centralized system that's trying to fit in the decentralized system may not work for you. So anyway, remember, get the education, come see any of us. We'll be more than happy to lead you to the right resource or help you out with your business in any way. So thank you all for coming to Women in Crypto panel. We're out of time, and we're glad that I hope you can take away some things that you learned, and please come see us after.